Welcome to Ghazali. Today we have a very special guest. I myself have given up my medicine for art, and now they say art is the best medicine. So we have a doctor who's running a pharmaceutical, a doctor of pharmacy, and we have an artist who is an important artist, both of them from Israel. So let us meet Dr. Fisher. Welcome to the program, and Ron. Yeah. So, Dr. Fisher comes from Israel. He has the largest private pharmaceutical in the country, and he's doing a lot of work for art and for world peace. And his curator, his colleague, is Doron. He's an important artist. He has shown very widely all around the world. He has also been part of the Venice Biennale. And both of them are here for a very special purpose. They have brought envelopes painted by artists from Israel and India. And these are envelopes for peace, which is a project initiated by Dr. Fisher. So let us start with Dr. Fisher. Welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm actually a scientist, not an artist. I graduated from the University of Jerusalem in biochemistry and microbiology. I was teaching 1 year in Harvard University in the United States. Then I went to the University of California in San Francisco, where I got my doctorate, and I developed a product, eye drops for against glaucoma, which is pressure within the eyes. And later on, I came back to Israel. My wife and I started the company. We rented a place for $100, 100 square meters, and we started to work, developing product and selling product. Now we have close to 1,000 people. It's one of the biggest private companies in Israel, not only in pharmaceuticals, in everything.
Oh.
The private manufacturing company.
About 1,000 people work for you.
Yeah. With me, not for me.
With you, of course.
Yeah. And we export to 30 countries. The first time, not to India. Unfortunately, not yet to India. I mean, we hope to sell in India. And we think that social activity is integral part of our company, in our family also. It's not a philanthropic. I don't see it as a philanthropic. I see it as an integral part. If you are in industry, if you are in business, you have to also contribute to the society. And we chose to do it through art. And art and business or industry has a lot to go to common. Because if you have original ideas in art or original ideas in industry, you succeed and your products stay for years. And if you're just imitating, then it's nothing. You are forgotten after some time. So there is a lot of common. I mean, in art you have to have original ideas, and in industry, pharmaceutical industry, of course, we developed many products. We specialize in skin and eye treatment, and we develop many products. We export to 30 countries, and yes, and this is our part in art.
Hey, you told me you have 3 PhDs.
Yes.
3 doctorates.
Yes.
Yeah. So it should be called, we have in India somebody called Sri Ravi Shankar. So he has 3 Sris. You could be Dr. Fisher. Yes. Yeah. Well, tell me, you have the social angle, and during my conversation with you yesterday, you told me a very interesting thing. You come from an area which is in constant conflict. It's a conflict zone between Arabs and Jewish people.
Right.
Now, do you employ any Arabs in your company?
Yes, we have about 200 Arab people who work together with the Jewish people, and there is no conflict, and we work together, and the conflicts are with some outside countries and some, I don't know, terrorists maybe or whatever, and we have peace. Israel signed a peace agreement with 2 of our former enemies, which is Egypt and Jordan, and when peace with Egypt was signed in 1979, we took envelopes, post envelopes, with a stamp of the first day of peace with Egypt. We gave it to 100 artists, Israeli artists, and asked them to paint on the subject of peace on the envelopes. In 1994, there was another peace agreement signed between Israel and Jordan. We came back to the post office 100 envelopes, and there are 200 artists who wanted to paint because we were very optimistic about peace agreements with other countries, and they also painted on the envelopes, signed with the president.
Tell me how this idea came, because I was reading your autobiography, and there's a mention about how you went for this auction with your wife. You heard about the auction. I would like to know the story of that auction.
Of the auction. Okay. The envelopes, the first 100 envelopes were sent to the artist, not by us, by someone else, and he contributed it to the organization that helps the army. Not militarily, but they build clubs, like books for them, libraries, and so on for the soldier. And they sold it in an auction, and I bought everything in the auction. I contributed quite a lot of money for these libraries and so on of the army. And since then, we showed it in.
So the basic idea for this came when you bought this whole collection of envelopes.
I consider myself, I know artists don't like it, I consider myself a collector of peace, not of art.
Okay.
And we do it through art. I mean, everyone has to do through something. And my wife and I, we did it individually with no government or any other financial help. So as individuals, you have to concentrate and specialize in something. And we thought that art is really, usually art and culture come before the diplomats and the agreements. So we went with this.
I like that term which you use. You are not collector of art, but you are collector of peace. I think we need more and more people to be collecting peace. But let's start with Doron a little bit. So Doron, please tell us about your association with Dr. Fisher and a little bit about you.
Well, first of all, beautiful place. We are very proud to be in the Museum of Goa because it's really something different, a very unique place, and it's very, very impressive. So
thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Well, as we said before, I was interested many years in a community and in social projects with a collaboration with art, and I curated a big show for the electricity company, and while we had the opening, I met with Dr. Eli Fisher, and at that moment I had no clue about all this project, and I was on my way to the States the same evening, but Dr. Eli Fisher consists to meet me, and we said that we shall make something new. And I was very fascinated to apply to artists, because for many years we were a little bit frustrated. I'm now representing the artists. We created our own studio, but we are not so-called influencing. And that was a way to express our feeling, and it was quite successful. We applied to 200 artists from all over the world. It was the second peace treaty with Jordan, and people were very anxious to express themselves. And we were, I can say that at the beginning we were a little bit surprised that despite the fact that we were all very happy about the peace, many artists were also scared. It was something which none of us knew very exactly what would be. So some of the works were really throwing the fear and the tension, but that made the collection very authentic and very interesting.
How many of these shows have you created so far with envelopes?
How many?
Yeah.
I think that we travel at the first circle about 30 countries, 30 leading museums all over the world. And it was something very rare that a private company like Dr. Fisher decided to sponsor and to take it personally, because late Dr. Fisher and Dr. Eli Fisher, they took it very personal. We went to New York. It was the first opening at the New Museum the Soho, and we had about 60 skin doctors. They came to the opening, and we had many local artists in New York. It was a big, grand opening, and since then we started to travel in South America, in Asia, and in Europe. And it was a really big project, and for us as an artist and curators, it was something very rare.
And you have published a book with this envelopes.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this book.
We published a few books. One of my autobiography,
Yeah.
which is also the history of Israel, more or less, because I was a child when Israel, a small child when Israel was established. And about the peace collection, we published a book and we gave it to the President of Israel, the King of Jordan, Dr. Kissinger, the Foreign Minister of the United States, and to many people who we thought could contribute to expand the peace agreements of Israel with its neighbors, because we have other neighbors with whom we don't have yet a peace agreement. So we gave the book to all these people with the hope that they will contribute, those who can contribute to peace. Up to now, it's still waiting.
Yeah, I have a little connection because I'm doing a project on Gandhi, and one of the interviews on Gandhi I have is of Simon Peres. So I have the original footage of Simon Peres speaking about Gandhi. Yeah. So well, now let us basically talk about art and peace.
Yeah, by the way, Shimon Peres opened our exhibition in Paris.
Okay.
He was the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
The President, actually.
The President,
Last
yes.
Prime Minister and then the President.
Yeah.
So he opened our exhibition in Paris.
So tell me your thoughts about art and peace.
I think, as I said, I think that art and culture come before peace agreements, before the diplomats, before the politicians are coming to agreements. I mean, art is actually international. There is no limit. An artist from India, an artist from Israel, an artist from any other country, it's the same. The artists have a lot in common, and they don't wait for the politicians to make agreements. I mean, this comes before, and I think it's another way to get people from different countries, from even the countries with conflicts, together on art. That's it.
In Venice, I met some of the curators during the Biennale, and there was one gentleman who made a very interesting statement. He says that art, contemporary art, is a new Gothic. A very interesting statement.
Yeah.
That once upon a time it was the Gothic architecture which pervaded the world, especially Europe. And today, he said the contemporary art is a new Gothic. Would you like to talk a little bit about this concept?
Well, it's a very unique perception, I would say, but I just wanted to say something about your recent question about the concept of the artist messengers of peace and how it was related to India, because this is something very interesting. We were introduced to a very amazing artist, to Ratna Gandhi, a few years ago. And
With the right name, Gandhi.
Yes, a very right name. And we met all of us in Jaipur last year, and actually it's the first time that we applied to a group of artists out of Israel, and we immediately got positive answer from 100 artists. Very fast, very fascinated, and this collection for us is something very new, because it's very powerful, and I think that that's India. It's a mess of artworks on the envelopes, and actually you see all the culture of India, a really very different view of each of the creators, but it was very unique. This is why we decided to found this exhibition and bring it here before, and we plan to show it in Tel Aviv afterwards.
Okay.
Now, Dr. Fisher, he didn't say before, but they running a gallery, a social gallery in Tel Aviv, which is a very unique for a commercial company, and that has to do, by the way, with your last question. Again, it's very rare, very special that it's like every 2 months another professional art exhibition connected to a non-profit organization. And as I said before, it's a win-win project for the foundations and for the company. And it's a way to breathe for us as an artist. Well, Venice, as you know, it's a very international gathering of artists and projects from all over the world. And I rather prefer to speak maybe about the bad meaning of globalization, which I don't think so. I think that nowadays, with all our advanced means of communication, we all using a very similar language. But of course, each of us has his own background, tradition. We see it here in this museum a lot. But again, we see the story of Noah from the Bible in your interpretation in Indian, amazing artworks. And that's a kind of answer to what you asked before.
Yes.
We changing ideas, we collaborating together. But I think that Dr. Fisher succeeded in a very unique and special way to adapt the promotion of their products to the art, because we run in parallel to their promotion with the product in cosmetics, in medicine, and we are using almost the same channels. If we were talking about our region, about the conflict in between Arab, Jewish, whatever, there were few activities that I was very proud to join. They have a club of promotion, consumerism. They're running all over the country, and we got a chance to bring the collection, the exhibition, at the same spots. For us, it was a big way to show the artworks, and it was a part of the local promotions, which went together very nice together.
Yeah, art has the power to, of course, communicate. Art also has a power to convert the regional into universal.
Do you say it in the end that one visual, one image is better than 100 explanations? We say it in our language.
We also, that's I think a universal truth. Yeah, and it's also a universal truth that art definitely has a very powerful way of communication, and it has been proven again and again, because all religious movements, political movements have always used symbols,
Right.
the visuals, and the symbols become very, very important. So what we are doing is definitely a great symbol of initiative for peace. And that's so well. Coming a little bit to Gandhi, because we are from the country of Gandhi. This is a country which has provided two greatest messiahs of peace to the world. One is, of course, Buddha, and then Gandhi. And we also have great peace movements in the other religion which originated in India, called Jainism, where absolute non-violence even to the insects is what is preached. And coming from a country of Gandhi, it's very important for me that such an initiative, and I have an opportunity because of Dr. Fisher and you to participate in it. So the Museum of Goa is very grateful to you. What is the kind of awareness of Gandhi in your country? Maybe
Awareness.
yeah.
We know about Gandhi. Everyone, I think, Israel knows the name of Gandhi,
Yeah, of course.
and everyone, I think, knows that he was fighting. We saw movies, we saw pictures how he took thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people behind him to do what they call a non-violent opposition to the British, to get the independence of India. And by the way, the independence of India in 1948, I think.
47.
47. It's It's exactly more or less the same time that Israel became independent in 1948.
Yeah.
In 1947, the United Nations decided about establishing of Israel. So it's about.
And both the treaties happened in perhaps the same room because that happened in England. The decision for the creation of
In England.
Israel.
United Nations.
Yeah.
United Nations also.
Yeah, I want to say that the exhibition here, all these artists that Doron talked about, the Indian artists participating in this exhibition here in Goa, together with the Israeli and with the European and the American artists that are part of the collection. So now the Indians who painted all on the subject of peace, we asked them to paint only on the subject of peace, Doron asked them. So all of them will be part of the collection now and will be shown all over the world.
No, that's absolutely lovely. And you also, I have seen the pictures of you presenting the collection, the book of the collection to different presidents and prime ministers of the world. Yeah. So, well, coming to Gandhi again a little bit, I would like to share a little bit about this project with you.
Gandhi was a real, I see him talking about honesty or modesty or all these values. We have a lot of seeking to get back to values, I would say. I'm not sure that I'm clear enough, but we all the time trying to raise the basic good values of the society in those so-called naive years where we found the state was founded. Nowadays, things will change. It's a new generation. I mentioned before the globalization before, but Gandhi brought a lot of big change to the world. And I think that a part of our past, talking about 70 years ago, about the big leaders who founded the state of Israel, like the state of India, there's something which we are all seeking to have again, a bit of these values. I have to say that watching some of the crafts in this museum, and you are very active in these works here, showing a lot of dialogues with the tradition, with the process of recreating new way. And as we see Gandhi, even from the artistic side, I think, there was something, we talk a lot about abstraction. We mentioned it before, about minimalism, about starting something new, fresh, clean, and honest even. Like when you get to a painting with a white canvas and you bring your colors, it's a new start. So that was our feeling when we studied about the history of India. There's so much cultures here, all together. A lot of long way when we started to compare about the tradition of these both peoples, the Indian people and the Jewish people. There was a lot of similarities. And Gandhi came like to unite all these parts. And that was the aim of the creation of Israel, to bring the Jewish people from all the diaspora, we call it, from all over the world. So there is a very composite well.
But the greatest compliment for Gandhi comes from a man who could have become your first prime minister,
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. So the greatest compliment on Gandhi is by Albert Einstein, and it says, "Generations to come shall scarce believe that such a man in flesh and blood ever walked upon this earth." So well, now again talking a little bit about art and peace. One of the theories is most people are most comfortable, especially students, are most comfortable when they are in a class of art. They're in an art class. There are so many examples in America when there was ethnic conflict. There were experiments tried and the black students and the white students participated in a theater, and that participation together in the theater sort of broke all kind of barriers and they came together. So art has a tremendous power to break barriers and even initiate peace. I must talk to you about a very small anecdote which happened just a few weeks ago. I'm associated with an organization called BanglaNatic.com, which was started by an engineer called Amitabh Bhattacharya. there are many areas in India which are Naxalite areas, where the Maoists were fighting, killing. And these are tribal areas. And tribals have great art. They create so much of craft and art and music. And this organization just started promoting art and craft in this area. And within 5 years, the Naxalite movement stopped. Within 5 years, there was no Naxalite movement anymore because everybody was fruitfully employed. So art has this tremendous power. So apart from this envelope project, do you have anything else in mind using art, for example, for a promotion of peace?
You know that I can tell you they started a new project which is not exactly the same. Like we have the Artist Messengers of Peace, but Dvorah Fisher, the late Dvorah Fisher, she was very active with small children who were taken out of their homes, and she was the director of this foundation, and they founded a new campaign of children, Messengers of Peace. And we applied to almost 30 countries. We got more than 1,500 children paintings about the misery, the impact of the war. And this collection, which was sponsored by Dr. Fisher, is now shown in 10 medical hospitals in Israel, in children's departments. Dvorah Fisher believed a lot in creation, more than art. And we had a lot of talks about it while she was traveling in the country, visiting all these organizations. They had, during the summer, a lot of art activities. And she was personally promoting it. Like that was the language to get to every heart of children and even the sponsor around. So it was used.
I have a little suggestion here. You know, I've always been art, technology can be used very fruitfully to achieve this goal of peace. And I had a project in my mind, especially connected with India and Pakistan. I wanted to have video conferencing facilities with screens in a primary school in Pakistan and primary schools in India. And since the time zone is the same, during the interval, Abdullah from Pakistan can chat with a Mohan from India. So this kind of an activity of having video conferencing facilities for little children in schools in the Arab world and in the Jewish world could actually put them together.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
There was a project of a school of life in Jordan, which is a neighbor of Israel.
And I agreed with the Jordanian king to form this place in Aqaba. Aqaba is a Jordanian city, to make a school for blind people and for teachers of blind people. And I agreed to participate on condition that also Israeli teachers of blind people will be in this school. And it was agreed that it will be Jordanian and Israeli students and teachers in this school, which is nice cooperation. But the king died, King Hussein died, and then the whole project died.
Well, I think, thank you for coming here, and this was lovely. I think you are manufacturing a lot of medicines. The biggest medicine I think I wish you will manufacture is medicine for peace. And with this, I think even in the Dead Sea, peace will start growing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.